All right, okay. It's the time of the week, but what time is it? Oh my gosh. I have no idea. What I do have as an idea is
Welcome to the GBA Podcast, where guilty by association meets gritty, blissful ambiguity.
live. What's up, and welcome to the place where guilty by association meets gritty, blissful ambiguity. Yes, it's time for the GBA podcast. We need some support, y'all. Like, we need y'all on YouTube. We need y'all to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Like, where y'all at? Anywho, so I go by the name of Ness, and I try to bring you interesting, thoughtful, thought-provoking, and edutaining content every week. Some weeks I get lucky and it works out, and some weeks I don't so much. And then it doesn't work out so much. My gosh, it's so hot. Like, this heat is too real and I'm too confused and I need to get started ASAP. So I just wanted to talk about something that really bugs me. And that's why I kind of like keep coming back to it, because they ain't stopping anytime soon. So we had the lab grown meat. We talked about it. We also said, okay, veg is also cloned, GMO. We know all of these kind of things. And now my eye is itching and I don't really like it. All right. So, but now we have this thing where like everybody pretty much is out in the open, jumping on the bandwagon of crazy fake food. So we have the 3D printer vegetables, broccolis, and fish, and chicken nuggets and whatnot. But now we've been knowing that here in Europe, as also in the US and in other places. I mean, in Asia, I guess in some parts they've been doing it for a while now, eating insects, eating crickets and cockroaches and worms and all that kind of stuff. To me, just talking about it is just like, gross. But yeah, that's just me, y'all. So we know that there was a lot of produce, especially like cake, bread, cookies, and all kind of stuff. All these companies producing these things were actually allowed to use a particular percentage, if I'm not mistaken, up to 5% of insect food where the insects are collected. I mean, look, M&Ms, like a lot of chocolate is being used in insects as well. And so basically these insects are being dried and then they're being made into a powder, and then they get mixed with all the rest of the ingredients, and whoopsie, there you have it. The cookie is no longer vegan or vegetarian. I say vegetarian because a lot of times milk and eggs, butter, whatever is used. The cake is not vegetarian anymore, and nobody is being asked if that's okay with them. And we're all out there in the supermarkets trying to read the labels, trying to understand what all these numbers and letters and weird names mean, because they're not literally going to say made out of cricket and cockroaches. They're using the Latin names for these insects, and last time I checked, most of us do not speak Latin, so we wouldn't really be privileged to have that knowledge. And Aldi, one of my favorite supermarkets, a lot of y'all might not understand it, but trust me, like when I went the first time, I have never been to an Aldi in America, but I've been to Aldi in the UK, and that was a very sad experience because I'm used to something else. Since Aldi is from Germany and I grew up in Germany, obviously I knew Aldi very well. And that is actually one of my favorite supermarkets. But if they're going to jump on that bandwagon, bro, I know what to do. I really don't. I mean, I don't buy cakes and cookies and whatnot anyway. I prefer to make them myself. But needless to say, I'm not happy about it, and a lot of people are not happy about it. As much as there are people who really don't care whether they eat 3D chicken nuggets or lab grown meat and veg, I definitely say I do not like it, and I don't like that. Once more, our health doesn't matter, because as much as we could say, okay, you know what, all the studies and all the experiments made, it never really killed anyone or hurt anyone. But that's not true, because there are further studies been made, especially also in Thailand. I just want to add that, because that's where we know, like, a lot of these um insects are being eaten because of the protein that they contain, and apparently it's very healthy, but it's actually not that healthy. It can definitely cause allergic reactions. It Because people do have other things that they suffer from, and eating these kind of things is not really um what can I say, but bro, I really have no idea what to say, because to me it's absolutely gross. Just the thought of it is absolutely gross. And since we're talking about food and things we like to eat and don't like to eat and don't want nowhere near our gut, let's talk about all these weight loss shots that are available. Ozempic and another one called Trulicity definitely paved the way. Ozempic is being used by so many celebrities. So many people lost weight with it. And, I used to be always the first person to jump on a bandwagon when it comes to um, weight loss products, because I always struggled with my weight in terms of going up and down, always these 15-pound up and down weight. It was really annoying, but that's more due to my thyroid issue and whatnot, which a lot of people can relate to. But Ozempic was really a great help for people, because it really allowed them to lose all their unwanted weight. And the thing is, there is this new shot that's called Wegovy, that is also now out there in the UK, being prescribed to combat the weight challenges that a lot of people have. But you have to have a BMI over 30 or over 27. And that if the parameters are right, in the sense of, like, what's your body weight, that your height, all of that kind of stuff. I just want to add to that, it's great that we finally have these things, but let's not fool ourselves, because all of these things are not miracle products, because you can only use these products for 2 years, and after these 2 years you have to lose them, because Ozempic and the rest of them were made for diabetic people, because it combats diabetes as well. So now everybody on the bandwagon. I mean, it's a lot of money to be made, although the supply doesn't always work, because there is not enough made. And if people are wondering how this stuff actually really works, is we have a hormone in our gut which is called GLP-1, and that Ozempic or Wegovy or these kind of like shots are supposed to slow down the food processing, and so it's not too overwhelming for the gut, and it also releases this hormone from your pancreas, so your brain thinks you're full and you don't need to eat. This is like the whole secret of it. Like, you give people they take the shot weekly in the abdomen, here in their belly. They just pinch that little bit of fat, and then and that's it, once a week. And that is supposedly helping you to lose weight, because it kind of like tricks your brain into thinking that you're full, and it slows down the digestion process, so the stuff doesn't get as quickly into your blood as without it. But there is also a lot of side effects that are happening now. Some people are actually suing these two companies who came up with it, because nausea is experienced, bellyache, vomiting. It comes nothing, there is no miracle drug, no miracle product out there. Everything comes with some type of side effect for somebody. And again, don't forget, if you want to go to your doctor and you want to have it prescribed, make the most of it, because you can only take it for 2 years. And unfortunately, most of the people gain most of the weight back. So unless they find a solution, a permanent solution, don't talk to me about it. Man. So this is a story that at some point in my young life, for some reason, I was kind of obsessed with. And I just want to say, so Mohamed Al Fayed, the billionaire that used to own Harrods and the Fulham football team, died at the age of 94 and was buried last Friday after the Friday prayer in Regent Park's Mosque in London. He died a day after the 26th anniversary of his son Dodi and Diana dying in that absolutely horrific car crash in Paris. And it's actually really crazy, because he was called a conspiracy theorist on so many occasions, because he was very vocal about his son and Diana being unalived on purpose. He went to multiple courts. He really fought very, very, very hard his whole life, and he was grieving his son till the end, because every time this man was in London, he used to go visit Dodi's flat, where he left everything as it was 26 years ago. Nothing was allowed or is allowed to be moved. I wonder how this is going to work out now that he's gone. Man, sometimes I know it's very, very wrong to say, but sometimes it's really interesting, because these are the things that are probably in his will, but we will never find out, because who would who would care? Like, does he have any other children, or who would care about this flat continuing to stay the way that it was, when it's really crazy? I mean, it's 26 years ago, and I don't know if he was in his flat before he went to Paris, or how long he hasn't been in his flat, but obviously there is personal belongings, and certain things just left the way they are. Sometimes when we go away, we just, I always try to make sure that I take time to clean my apartment fully. I put everything away. Last time when I was going to Morocco, I didn't have a chance to clean, because I was really sick before, and then I came sick back. But it's not that my apartment was in a messy state or anything. I just want it to be extra clean in case something happens and people have to come in here. That's the thing. But man, well, definitely it's a very, very sad story with Dodi, Diana. And I mean, 94 years is a decent age. He was a successful businessman. He owned one of the most iconic stores in London, where everybody and their mom been to at least once in their lives. And he was really fighting for his son, and he wanted justice, and I hope he finds peace now. Man, we always talk about all these things that banned because they're no good. Like I talked on a podcast before, how the plant cat, which is a drug, or quote unquote drug, it's not really a drug, it's actually more a plant, but which you chew and you get certain benefits or not. which is very popular amongst the Somali community in the UK. But now, they're looking into, legalizing marijuana and all them places. I think Holland was the first country, and then some states, or a lot of states in the US now. Now everybody else in Europe is jumping as well on it and looking into it, trying to, make all the legislations right and the laws before they kick off all of this. But at the same time, we still have some harmful things apparently. So like laughing gas. Okay, so laughing gas, I know it's kind of like some countries don't take any issue with it, but the UK is looking into banning it at the end of the year because it's, it's being abused a lot, mainly by kids between 16 and 24. The usage of it is rising. People enjoy it too much, and that can obviously have some serious side effects as well. And I was talking about the vapes, the disposable vapes. It's the same thing with the disposable vapes, because they are also not healthy, and it's a lot of kids, like that are also jumping on this trend, especially kids ages between 11 and 17. What is an 11-year-old doing with a vape? Like seriously, that's crazy to me. And this whole vaping industry, the disposables, they don't put everything on a package, so it's clear. And then matter of fact, kids don't even care. That's what they wanted. That's why they wanted. And these disposables can cause real and serious nicotine addictions. And I mean, there are some studies that nicotine ain't that bad. I don't know. Like, there's a lot going on right now. But what I can say, for kids, it's not a good thing. And you can, from all of these disposable vapes and all of these things, all of these ingredients, you can get serious respiratory issues. You can get cardiovascular diseases. You can get vapor's tongue, dry mouth, coughing, vomiting, fevers. It just can cause a lot. And I feel like somebody who's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 is not fully developed to sustain these kind of toxins. But so I just want to tell the parents, because sometimes, and it's not just parents, I mean, kids have aunties, uncles, and I know, like, we all say it's not our business and whatever, but I feel like, it always takes a village to raise a kid. That's just like my attitude to it. And I feel like people should actually be out there and be looking at kids, like if you have a nephew or a little niece, when you see them vape, like, don't look away. This is something serious, because kids can get addicted much, much quicker, and it's not nice. This is something that really burned me this week. Yo, I understand competition. I understand all these little tricks that people do, to distract you so you don't pay attention. All of this is good and okay. But when you have like a sport that's very competitive, like, let's say, tennis, because we're talking about tennis here, which, by the way, I don't like, but I still want to say shout out to Coco Gov. Like, you're amazing, girl. First teenager to get to the Opens. She's 19, and she was playing this German crybaby, Laura Siegman. And Laura Siegman was stalling the game because she was not she was not playing according to the pace of play. What that means is, your opponent is ready to serve. You gotta be ready. You gotta be available. But she was stalling. She was doing all kind of thing, and she was doing it for 2.5 hours. And everybody's patience runs out, especially if it's in such a serious situation like this. Like, come on now. Coco took it for 2.5 hours. No, um, My gosh. Nobody said nothing, you know? So she took it upon herself and said something. And she said, hey, why you keep doing this? Like, you've been doing this for 2.5 hours. This girl, Laura, the crybaby, Laura, kept saying, I did it just once. No, girl, you did it for 2.5 hours. There's a whole stadium of people who were cheering for Coco because she said something, and she said, how is that fair? You know, like, she's been doing it, she's been getting away with it, but now I had enough, you know? And it's like crazy. Like, you're coming to this country, right? And I don't know who you think you is, but you're definitely not that important where you can change the rules and make it to what you want it to be. And there was, as I said, the whole crowd that were cheering that she finally spoke up, and she was within her rights, and finally she's been told. And there was a whole press conference, and she was there with her crocodile tears. At the end, I'm gonna go home, and I know that I didn't make a mistake. Oh, seriously, shut the F up forever. Like, seriously, if you can't even if you if you can't even take that criticism, you know, if you can't take that, you shouldn't be in a competitive sport, and you shouldn't be on this big level of playing a competitive sport, you know. And what you did there is absolutely embarrassing, and just because you was called out on it, finally you felt embarrassed, so you thought your little tears will help you, and then you kind of like pep talk yourself and tell yourself how you're gonna go home, and you know that you haven't made a mistake. Yo, not only that, I'm sick and tired of people saying this. I hate when people do that. Well, at least I'm gonna go home and I know I didn't do anything wrong. Well, good for you. But you guess what? The whole world saw it because the videos are circulating like crazy. Haha. Haha. Man, this is something I really can get. Like, seriously. And I want to talk about something that can actually cause, or that not can cause, that does cause a lot of like moment for people once they discover their first gray hair, or their first 2 3 gray hairs, and then they realize, oh my gosh, I got gray hair. And a lot of the times this person is not even old, because younger people get gray hairs as well. This could be genetically that they get it early. This could be stress. This could be so many different reasons. But now we got actually some news. So studies found out that gray hairs are also caused by mineral deficiency. You know, um, like, if you have a mineral deficiency, um, or you have like toxic blood, that could be you. You could be the person that is actually uh hit by this, like, what I'm saying, like, you you need to get your minerals up, you need to get your copper up, you need to get um your iron up, your magnesium, all that kind of like good stuff, and if you're not a fan of sea moss, there is also obviously spirulina, but then you have also moringa powder. I always talk about moringa powder, and I think I did talk about it on this pod, did I? I'm not too sure. Moringa is such an amazing, amazing, amazing thing. It actually also has 91 from 102, 103 minerals that we need, it has your potassiums, your magnesiums, your irons, it has um everything. So you need to detox regularly. That's what the gray hair is telling you, because your blood flow is not right, which means something's up with your heart as well. So you want to check on that as well, like, this is a serious thingy. So make sure to get your minerals in. People are always heavy on them vitamins, which is a great, but we also want to not forget the minerals. And another interesting fact that I have for this week, before I get out of here and enjoy my evening, is people who can tolerate spicy food have a higher circulation of testosterone. So the spicier you can eat it, the more testo you have flowing and circulating through your body. And this also helps, with the threshold of pain, meaning you kind of like train your tolerance for pain when you eat spicy food. And yeah, who knows, you might be able to tolerate pain better. I was always wondering, why am I so good in tolerating pain? But I always used to eat mad spicy until I started having all my issues with my belly, and then I don't eat so much spicy food anymore. But I'll tell you that. So to all the men out there, I mean women as well, testosterone. I always tell that story how I was prescribed testosterone one time, and the doctor said once a week, put a little bit on the back of your arm and on the side of your butt. What did I do? I thought he told me to do it every day. So I did it every day. And after like 3 weeks, my voice got lower. I don't know, it was very weird. I started growing a couple of hairs, in my knee section, like around my knee section, in a thigh. I'm like, where is this coming from? And then I realized, went to the doctor, and he was like, how's it going? I said, oh, it's going well. I just think, like, I don't know, it's like changed. Then it hit me, while I was talking to the doctor, I'm like, oh, my voice is lower. And he goes like, so how are you using it? And I told him I've been using it for every day for the past 2 weeks. He goes, I told you once a week. Oh my God. It was so crazy. So anywho, I came off it. That was it for me. No more, no more testosterone. I think I did what I had to do in order to get my levels back up. But yeah, so don't play with these kind of things, but just know that if you want your testosterone up without really taking any type of, artificial testosterone or any type of thing, just eat spicy food. And with that said, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have tuned in, make sure to share, like, subscribe, tell your parents, tell your mommy, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your auntie, your grandmother, your coworker, your neighbor, your doctor, anybody. Tell them about our podcast. Shout out to the team. Shout out to everybody out there. See you guys next week.